Hi, hi, everybody. Oh God. So to whoever's watching this video, I just want to say straight up, I feel you. If you're struggling with depression and anxiety, God is delivering me from that diagnosis, and with everything that's going on with this COVID-19, I just want to say, I pray that God gets you through, whether you believe in God or not. We are in this together. We are brothers and sisters. Okay. I know, been there, done that. When you go through a lot, you want to be selfish. You want to focus on you, especially with all of this stuff happening. I mean, I've seen a lot of selfishness, a lot of people trying to worry about them. But I want to give a message from a kingdom of love that is always in all of our hearts if we just look deep enough and take some quiet time. um Sit back, get some hot tea. It's actually good for us to be drinking hot fluids with everything in our immune systems. I have my faith cup right here from my mom and dad. I kind of crushed all my tea and had a bagel and some jelly. It was good. But I love this cup. And drinking tea right now and taking care of your health is major. So please do that, and check out some of this reading I'm doing from Mountain of Spices right now. It's really good. Something spoke to my heart and kept me in a really dark moment that I wanted to have an attack, an anxiety attack the other day, and just really, just have those moments where you just, there's no hope, and I'm not gonna get through this. We're not gonna make it, and we have a lot of plans and things happening come this year that we have going on, and being shut down and quarantined and all that other stuff can cause a lot of fear. And God is telling me the opposite. Of course, it sounds cliche, but really, it's legit. Everybody wants to be prepared, but I'm telling you, perfect love casteth out all fear. God's word says, perfect love casteth out all fear. So, from the kingdom of love, I would like to read a passage from Mountain of Spices by HURNARD. You can get it on Amazon. Old school, I like hard copy books. I love it, taking it close and holding it and smelling it. And I love books. And this is a good book. So I'm on chapter 10, and I'm reading from page 139 into 140 right now. Okay. In silence, grace and glory followed the king as he walked along the narrow path between the reeds. And she noticed that the poise and grace and litheness of his movements had in them the same quality as that of the reeds. Okay. The same lovely willingness to stoop, to bend, and the same buoyant and royal way of rising. Excuse the ice cream truck. It's really, really like annoying. They come all hours of the day. All right, so like, just if you can, just hear me out. This is some good stuff. Everyone is not the same. It might not hit everyone the same, but this is some good stuff. Okay. I'm excited. Poise and grace and litheness of his movements had in them the same quality as that of the reeds, the same lovely willingness, okay, to stoop and bend in the same buoyant and royal way of rising again, uncrippled by the stooping. As she watched him, she remembered her long journey up to the high places, and how from start to finish it had been the gracious, gentle movements of his manner towards her, his perfect understanding of her weakness and fears, as though he felt with her all that she suffered, which had wooed her to follow him. even up to the grave, even in the midst filled canyon on the mountains. Then she whispered to herself most gratefully, "This gentleness hath made me great, and oh, how I long to be anointed with the same gentleness towards others." She followed him for some way, and then found that he had led her to an open space beside a broad lake, bounded at one end by a great cliff of granite rock. The king leaped up the towering cliff, and Grace and Glory sprang after him on her hind feet, as agile and light as the mountain roe. They seated themselves upon the topmost pinnacle of the rock, as upon some lofty throne, and from there looked out over the lake. And the fields of swinging reeds, everything spread out before them, seemed to be swaying in the wind. There were long ripples on the waters of the lake and long ripples on the beds of reeds, but they themselves were seated upon immovable granite rock as sternly unyielding as the reeds below were unresting. Okay? That's something right there. Okay? While the reeds are moving, the rock is sturdy. This contrast became very vivid, very, very vivid to the consciousness of Grace and Glory as she sat up there on the rocky throne besides the King of Love. On the one hand, she saw the terror and the grandeur of the rocky cliffs, and on the other, the grace and gentleness of the reeds which clothed the mountain slopes. The terror and the beauty of love. The words suddenly came into her mind with such force, such clarity, that she turned and looked at the king to see whether he had spoken to them. "What is it?" he asked in answer to the wondering look she turned upon him. "My lord," she said, "I have another question to ask you. You have brought me here to the mountain of Calamus with the reeds of gentleness, of your love, in my own experience. But there's another side to love. Can love be as terrible as well as gentle? Is love really like a consuming fire which cannot be approached without fear and trembling? Can love even appear to be cruel and terrible? Just tell me." He was silent a while before answering, almost as though he were considering the question with her. Then he turned upon her a look which was both grave and yet singularly beautiful at the same time. "Yes," he said, "love is a consuming fire. It is burning, unquenchable passion for the blessedness and happiness, and above all, for the perfection of the beloved object. The greater the love, the less it can tolerate the presence of anything that can hurt the beloved, and the less it can tolerate in the beloved anything that is unworthy or less than the best, or injurious to the happiness of the loved one. Therefore, it is perfectly true that love, which is the most beautiful and the most gentle passion in the universe, can and must be at the same time the most terrible. Terrible in which it is willing to endure itself in order to secure the blessing and happiness and perfection of the beloved, and also apparently terrible, and what it will allow the beloved to endure in its suffering. It is the only means by which the perfection or restoration to health of the beloved can be secured. And that was very powerful when I read that. And don't go on my British accent or my British reading, because in my head and in my world with God and the world of love, I am a whole nother person, okay? And I might be British. Don't mind me. So that piece, okay, that piece is very powerful. And excuse the accent or the details. If you got to rewind this video to that part, like I've read that part over and over, do it, because you might not have to. It's just like first time that I even heard that, in that dark moment of my mind, God doesn't love you. He won't protect you from all this. Like, look at all the stuff you already been going through. Like, do you deserve to go through more stuff? And, but really, God is doing some great things all the time, and he's fighting for us, and he is not picking and choosing. He's not saying, oh, this person's condemned to this and condemned to that. He's literally, I believe, saying this not just to me, but this is a message for COVID-19, 2020, whatever people want to call this year and this problem and these things going on in their life, or just your regular situation of struggle and finding yourself or knowing what love is. This is a message that God, I believe, is saying to all of us, especially through the sacrifice of what Jesus did on the cross. We're going to have to walk a path, and we got to know. Okay, so let it speak to you, however, but I want to point out that I'm not just reading some book just because I want to read a book and be done with it. You know, I love reading, but come on now. Like, something's going on in this love world that we need to tap into and slow down as America, as a people, as a community, as brothers and sisters, and really see that world that God is telling us to tap into before it's too late. When he had said this, okay, remember, her name used to be, there's a book one, and her name used to be Much Afraid in the first book. Okay, and it was called Hind's Feet by Hannah HURNARD. And the second book is Mountain of Spices, which is this book. And now her name is Grace and Glory. So she walked with God. She's talking about her past walk with God and all the bad and good things that they've been through. And she's just like, is love good or bad? You know, or does love have a good and a bad side? And God answered her and said yes. Like, Jesus is considered the shepherd in this story, and love has a bad side. Love has, you know, a side that's not pleasant. All right, as we read on. When he had said this, he began to sing another of the mountain songs. Can love be terrible, O my Lord? Can gentleness be stern? Ah, yes, intense is love's desire to purify. His loved 'tis fire, oh holy fire to burn. For he must fully perfect thee, till in my likeness all may see the beauty of the Lord. Can love be jealous, Lord? Yes, jealous as the grave, to every hurtful idol be a UpTorn, wrested out of thee. Love will be stern to save. Will spare thee not a single pain, till thou be free and pure again, and perfect as thy Lord. Can love seem cruel? Oh my Lord. Yes, like a sword the cure, he will not spare thee sick and soul, till he hath made thy sickness whole, until thine heart is pure. For oh, he loves thee far too well to leave thee in thy self-made hell. A Savior is thy Lord. Grace and glory sat side by side on the great throne of granite rock. Looking down and yet further down the valley so far below, she thought of the people who lived down there so far away from the kingdom of love. But most especially, she thought of the miserable, terrible, O Lord Faring, beside whose deathbed she had so recently just stood, and of the many others whom she knew who lived as though the Lord of love did not exist, and her heart was overwhelmed with the terror of love, yet comforted by it too. Then she looked up into the face of the king. At what she saw there left her absolutely silent. Okay. But with this one thought shining in her mind like a clear lamp, he made us. He knew what he was doing all along, she thought to herself. He made us. He knew what he was doing all along. She felt relief. It is love alone which can make all the agony and torment which men bring upon themselves and others explicable. For I see it as the means used by this inexorable will to save us and to make us so perfect that his love can be completely satisfied. Behold the beauty, the beautiful beauty and terror of the love of God. End of chapter 10 of Mountain of Spices. All right, guys. So if you guys were listening to any of that or heard any of that from chapter 10 of Mountain of Spices by HURNARD from page 139, okay? That's where I started. It will really shake you, I think, once you're in your own zone. Like, I'm in my own zone. With all this atmosphere and environment. But with all this free time and the shutdown, I really hope you have 20 minutes to spare because it's worth it. It's really worth it to really hear from the kingdom of love and shut out the kingdom of fear. Okay? Fear can only be destroyed by love. Okay? That's the only way we're going to get through this in this time. I'm learning that for myself, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I had fun sharing with you. I had my tea that I had drunk, and it's gone now, and just the fresh air. Get some fresh air, take care of your health, and please stay positive and encouraged. I love you guys. I'll be praying the best I can and working on my walk with God and not being a perfect person, but just enjoying my mistakes and my faults. And if you heard any of the reading, you know, God loved her the way she was, grace and glory, and got her through and will get us through as a body, as a country, as a nation. We're all going through it. Love you guys. Have a blessed day. Alexa, what is today's date?
Today is Saturday, March 28th.
Today is Saturday, March 28th. So it's about to be April. Get excited. Yay. It's hard, but get excited. Have a good one.
Yeah, it's hard.
I know. God will take care of all of our needs. All right, guys. Bye.